Hello, friends. I wanted to interrupt your afternoon for just a moment to respond to a post that I made earlier today where I referenced President Trump's news conference from this morning. Now, let me take a moment and commend President Trump, as I did yesterday and the day before that, publicly, for his decisive change in tone. I think we can all agree that the COVID-19 crisis has brought out a very different tone for the President of the United States. And so I think, generally speaking, for the past few days, his tone has been very professional and has been very presidential. A remarkable change if we look at the rhetoric, the combined rhetoric from the past nearly 3.5 years of his presidency. What concerns me and what prompted my post was President Trump's insistence on calling the COVID-19 virus a Chinese virus. Now, he's been doing this for several days now in tweets, and I kind of ignored it. But today, when he was asked about this, he doubled down, as he usually does, and insisted that what he was doing wasn't racist, but by his own admission was in retaliation for the information that is out there that the Chinese government was alleging that this virus was a plant by the American military. Now, that aside, obviously that's ridiculous and uncalled for, but what is equally uncalled for is for the President of the United States then to label this a Chinese virus. And I know, relatively speaking, this is a small thing. And if this was a one-off by the President of the United States, then I don't think it would merit any comment at all. But the fact that he has used this kind of language from the beginning of his presidency, you can go back and you can detail all of the remarks that President Trump has uttered, whether it is about his political enemies, the events in Charlottesville. Over and over again, this is rhetoric that the President of the United States uses. And it is racist because you've got to look at more than just the denotative or the dictionary definition. You've got to take into account the connotative as well. And the bottom line, ladies and gentlemen, is that for leadership, language matters. What we say and how we leverage the words that we use has the potential to bring harm. And if we look at the rhetoric of President Trump collectively, it is rhetoric that we would not tolerate from anyone in our personal lives. We wouldn't put up with this kind of rhetoric from our postal carrier, from our manager, from our pastor, from our principal, from our mayor, from our police chief. We wouldn't put up with it from our dog catcher or from our spouse or from our children. So why do we continue to tolerate it when it comes from the President of the United States? And in many instances, why is this behavior and this rhetoric applauded by many people that would not tolerate it if it was coming out of the mouth of someone near and dear to them? For me, as a gospel preacher, this is a gospel issue because there is implications to how we live our lives. There are gospel implications as to how we live our lives. And certainly in a time of crisis, this is important for us to understand. And so while, again, my prayer is for the president, my prayer is for his team, my prayers are for everyone that is affected by this virus and that will be affected by this virus. In times of crisis, it is important for us to pray, and as Americans who enjoy God-given First Amendment rights, to hold those in power accountable for their words and for their actions. My prayer for all of you is that you will be well, that you'll be blessed, and that you'll be protected from this virus. And for those that may be afflicted, that they will recover quickly, and that as little harm as possible will come to our beloved nation and to our economy. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.